Watch, I think his name really is Loxton. I want to say it's Loxton. So again, I'm sorry if I don't sound positive on your name, dude. I apologize. You're awesome. I like how you get animated with the Pokemon video for Sun and Moon. That was the one I didn't finish, I'll be honest. I'll probably have a reaction video at some point about all the videos I watch, just to say what I talk about. And in a way that can be my little shout out / contribution to those people, because if you watch their videos, you know, that kind of helps them out. So, anyways, Loxton goes into everything that I just talked about, saying on how George Lucas did his research on the name, what Jar Jar Binks means, and the movements. People complain that he's comical relief with like his droid when it gets tied up in his leg and he just slams it down. His hand gestures being oh, and everything. How that's actually a type of martial arts known as like drunken fist and all sorts of other things. So George got a lot of backlash for Jar Jar Binks and a few other things. And when he tried to resolve and fix these problems, he got even more backlash from what I heard from a few videos on YouTube. Which I know, don't get all of your information from YouTube, but realistically, you shouldn't just trust the internet for a number of reasons. One, conspiracy reasons, you know, like the government actually controls and monitors the internet. So any website they do not want out or any information they don't want out, and I actually know this personally, okay? There's a website me and my brother found that had a remedy. And the website was actually almost a sentence. It was called The World's Best Antibiotic. And I saved it on my old iPhone, different iPhone, it was iPhone 3. Because that's what I had at the time. And ultimately I saved it so that when I had a desktop and I had better means of living and everything like that, I can actually try this remedy and see how well it works for my immune system and other things. And I went to go click on it one day, and it was gone. The web page no longer existed, and all it was a recipe. It was just a page that you scroll down on. There's no reason why that page should have disappeared, other than the fact that the government wants us to buy pharmaceuticals. They do not want us to go back to the old ways of things that I'm a firm believer in. You know, don't want us to know what organic is. They don't want us to know what you can grow in your garden and how good for you that is. Which, for the record, if you want true organic, you need to honestly buy from a farmer's market or grow it in your own backyard for all your life. And the reason why I say that, other than to sound, you know, exaggerating, whatever word you want to call it, is because me and my brother had a thought, which is on the conspiracy theory thought that we don't know how much, as a common citizen, we do not know how much control the government has, how much they manipulate everything. You know, we know that they throw pesticides on all the produce and all of our foods. We know that they throw hormones in our chickens and our cows and all of our meat crops, as I call them, cattle and everything. So we don't know how many generations it will, like, we don't know if the seeds, when you go to Walmart and you just buy seeds for a garden, you don't know if the plant that came from also had pesticides and other sort of issues. So we thought about it and we thought, okay, buy those anyways. Buy the seeds, because if you replant those seeds, instead of, like, a lot of people, they'll go like, okay, well, just, you know, go buy more seeds. You're not fixing the problem. Problem is that the soil is at that point tainted with poison and other sort of issues, which is why farmers who want to grow organically have to wait. They have to purchase a lot, wait like I think 7 years, not do anything with it, and let nature get rid of the poison itself. So ultimately what you have to do is you have to buy seeds, and if you find places that sell organic seeds, then obviously do that, because it might be more trustworthy. Honestly, if it's labeled it, then there's probably, I know I'm a giant conspiracist, but if they put the effort to say organic, there's one of two things of the extreme. Either A, they know that you're going to think it's organic, so they're going to do something else to it that's equally bad, or basically just loophole it like law people do and say, well, this doesn't have pesticides, it has something else on it. But that something else is still not good for you. So, or the other extreme is basically they just caught on to the fact that we don't want this stuff in our body. So ultimately they just did what I just said and did organically. They literally just stopped messing with nature and let things grow organically. So they either did that or they just fucked with it in a different way that loopholes the law. So ultimately, when you grow something out of a seed, you take the seeds from that plant that was fully grown, and then you plant those when the next season comes. You keep them till that next season. You plant something all year round, and that will actually put good things in the soil, vitamins, whatever. Or you can basically, keep a seasonal garden. That way, the things that aren't like when you're not gardening, the ground can basically take care of itself. But at the same time, you got to use the rooter tools, the things that like grind up and loosen up the soil. If you keep planting, roots actually do that on their own. So there's that. Back to my Star Wars thing, because I'm hitting an hour-long rant again. Almost. I'm at 37 and a half minutes. So, George Lucas, Star Wars, all this. Disney wants to stay from anything political, anything that has to do with the prequels, since the prequels were heavy in politics, which again, the politics were more subliminal in the original trilogy, but they were still there. The purpose of the prequels was what led into those original trilogies, what led up to that exact event. George Lucas said in a bonus feature that people question, I've seen people, even now with The Force Awakens out, say, well, maybe Luke was the chosen one to bring balance to the Force. Maybe Rey is the chosen one. I've heard a theory or a leak or whatever it is, which I swear, I really hope they don't do this because it kind of ruins what Star Wars is in one way. But in another way, it would be kind of interesting the fact that we are wiping the slate clean. So, creating a whole new thing. Actually, that's a topic for another time. But essentially, the fact that the Chosen One is just a reoccurring cycle, kind of like the Avatar cartoon, where you have the power and the spirit of one person, but they have a different soul or a different mortality. So you have Avatar Aang, and then you have Avatar, what's the other series? Legend of Korra. You have Avatar Korra, and they have this power of the Avatar spirit, which allows them to, stay connected. But they are technically different people. I'll go into that spiritual stuff in another time. But anyways, so Disney wants nothing to do with anything that impacted the prequels on a bad note. So they essentially rehashed A New Hope all over again. We have trench battles. We have literally even Han Solo says in character, Harrison Ford's character in character makes the joke. They're like, they're all like, what are we going to do? People, the same thing we did last time. It's a bigger Death Star, or it's a Death Star. Like someone mentions, oh, it's just another Death Star. We can do the same thing. And someone's like, oh, no, it's not. This one has different. Here's the original Death Star. Here's the second Death Star. And here is Starkiller Base, which is like 20 times bigger because it's like the size of Jupiter versus the Death Star was the size of our moon or something like that. It was colossally different. And the video that I watched, I haven't even finished it, but he talks about the physics, which the physics of Force Awakens, there are none. You have not just the rehashing, but you also have the fact that Star Wars didn't mess with physics as far as I'm aware, and logic and science. Which, yes, it's sci-fi, it's science fiction, but they didn't mess with their own logic and their own science within their own universe, nor ours. Which is basically universal in the way that Starkiller Base is a planet it has a weapon glued to the side of it that somehow absorbs a star. Well, all planets, being that Star Wars is basically a planetary and solar system type thing, they have to go on that logic, which is that planets revolve around a sun. You take out a sun, and a lot of things will happen that Star Wars doesn't account for, or Disney doesn't take accountability for, which is A, you destroy a sun, it creates a black hole, and there's no orbit, there's no gravity, there's nothing circulating a sun because there's now no longer a sun. Not only that, but what the other guy in the video that I was watching mentions is that they also... Okay, I'm actually... yeah. They also... I really need to start editing videos down because I'm running out of space on my phone. But the problem is that they also do this. They fire said planet or solar power, like a solar beam, quoting Pokemon. But they blast that into another solar system. You know, Star Wars is an entire galaxy made up of multiple systems. And here's another thing that he didn't touch on, is that Disney did try to backpedal and answer some of these questions. And I don't know how many got answered. Sorry, my nose is like really bothering me. I don't know why. But in the movie, in The Force Awakens, they are supposed to say basically, hey, we are going to destroy the Republic. There's that big Nazi speech where it's like, you know, the guy then, and whatnot, you know, he, you know, says like, we will destroy the Republic, and blows up an entire system, or like blows up 3 planets. It was like 3 or 5 planets. I've been a while since I've even watched the movie, honestly, even though I own it on Blu-ray. But I don't watch it that much because we are actually trying to, me and my